we're just going to do a little cleanup before we do anything. You know, things get heated on this show. If you watch the show, you know this has happened over the years. We're really passionate. This is our jobs. We come in, we talk to each other. Sometimes we're not as polite as we could be. That's just the way it is. But you're going to be dealing with the same thing when you sit around your table with your family and you don't agree. Or somebody says something and goes off the rails. This is part of what we do. This is not an indication that women can't sit around and talk. This is not an indication that we don't know how to deal with each other on camera. This is happening in real time. Stuff happens on this show in real time, and everybody, you know, wherever you sit in all of this, don't assume that we're over here with little butcher knives under the table. You know, it just doesn't work that way. This is our gig, and sometimes it goes off the rails, and it does. So if you can say that's never happened to any of y'all, that you've never had this happen, you understand where we're coming from. So everybody just calm down. It's a TV show. We're on together for an hour, and we step in poopy. Okay? We step in poopy, and stuff happens, and everybody just calm down.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Whoopi and I get along great. I love you very much. I've loved you for a long time. You're good friends with my dad.
Yeah.
We fight like we're family. It's all good. We're not tearing the set apart.
No.
Calm down.
Yeah.
All of you.
Everybody.
Okay? It's all good.
It's all right. It's all right. You know, and it's always been like this. It's always been like this. People have clashed and gone back and forth, so...
Yeah, but you know what? Name another show on television that does this. That talks about the most controversial issues of the day with such different women, different ages, different backgrounds, different times in their life, and does it every single day with cameras rolling. Name that other show on a network that does that, and then come back.
I think there are 2 copies of us.
Not the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's like do you realize we do 215 shows a year?
Only?
Yeah.
I think it is a lens into what's happening politically in the country, and you and I spoke this morning, and I think that America's at very heated levels right now, and I don't love it. I don't think anybody at home loves it, anyone in the country, but it is representative of what's going on, and it is raw and real, and we are all passionate women. I'm hyper conservative. Everybody else at the table is not, and sometimes we're going to clash heads, but I think it is indicative of what the holidays are like for a lot of people, but we also came together and we're fine and everything's good, and I think the media blowing it up, I just don't think it would happen with men, and there were a lot of commentators, Greta Van Susteren in particular, talking about the coverage of us and how sexist the language always is, especially reporting on when the fights happen on this show, and I, for one, am over it.
Well, you know, it's 20 years of this.
Yeah.
And I've only been here for 10 or 11 or something. And, you know, I always remember people saying, well, you know, you girls, you ladies. It's like, wait a minute. We're actually human beings having conversations that you don't want to have. We're having conversations you can't have, you're scared of having, or whatever it is. But the bottom line is, yeah, it's going to happen. And it's probably going to happen again. Just saying. Just saying. But speaking of getting heated, so far, 15 Democratic Congresspeople in districts that you know who's won say that they are going to vote yes on impeachment. And it was met with mixed reviews when Michigan Rep. Elissa Slotkin made her case. Take a look.
I hope you believe me when I tell you that I made this decision out of principle and out of a duty to protect and defend the Constitution. I feel that in my bones, and I will stick to that regardless of what it does to me politically.
So, you know, if you are in a district where people don't really see what you see, should you be afraid to lose the seat, or should you vote with your conscience?
It seems like on the Republican side, no one is standing up to Trump, as far as I can see, unless I'm wrong. The ones who quit, they leave or they retire, but there is not one Republican who's
Chuck Grassley. He's the only one that I remember saying this is really bad.
But we'll see how he votes.
Well, Will Hurd said it was really bad. He said, you know, he's not running again.
But they're not voting against it. They're voting against impeachment.
Go ahead.
Right. But this girl, this lady, Slotkin, she served in Iraq. So losing your life is harder than losing your job to her. So she is a brave person, and she's out there. And Anthony Brandisi, Chrissy Houlihan, Joe Cunningham, Ben McAdams, Jason Crow, Andy Kim, Abigail Spanberger, all Democrats in red districts are all voting for impeachment. They're brave. They're brave because they're doing the right thing.
And a lot of them are moderates. And we talk so much about this time, and I hear this a lot because I'm a moderate. And they say this is not a time to be a moderate. You've got to pick a side. You've got to be one extreme. You've got to be the other extreme. And I actually would argue the opposite. And today's a perfect example of that because it's these people that you should be listening to. When I think about Mitch McConnell or Adam Schiff, their focused and their only focus is to win seats. Is to stay in whatever power they're in.
I have to differ with you on
that is their
I don't think that's Adam
the most
Schiff at
important
all.
part of their job.
I've been listening to him for months. The man is concerned about the Constitution. Mitch McConnell is not. It's as obvious as that.
It's their job, though, is to keep their seats. Their job is to do what they think they need to do to keep their party in power. I'm just saying, I'm talking about the folks today because I do think they don't need to be booed, and that's what happened in the clip that you just showed, because what they're doing is speaking with their gut. They're speaking with their heart. They're speaking on what they believe to be right, even if that means they lose their seat. And I think we need more of that today.
That's supposed to be the job, right? Especially when you're talking about impeachment. You're supposed to be, you're supposed to follow the Constitution. And I don't think, I agree with Joy in the sense that
the Constitution as impeachment. Will Hurt is a great example.
But impeachment is outlined in the Constitution.
It's how you want to interpret
it's supposed to be it's a constitutional remedy. I mean, that's what it's for. And when you look at what the Republicans are doing, in my view, they're sort of all voting in lockstep. You have Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham that are saying, I've made my mind up already. And I think those folks, like Slotkin, who are saying, I'm voting with the Constitution, I'm voting my conscience, I think that is to be applauded. There was a New York op-ed that came out this morning, written by 4 Republicans, and I thought it was fascinating because they say the president and his enablers have replaced conservatism with an empty faith led by a bogus prophet. And they're imploring...
Republicans?
The Republicans are Steve Schmidt. I think he worked on your father's campaign. John Weaver.
That's a very touchy subject. We're trying to have a good day
John
today.
Weaver, who worked on... John Weaver also worked on your father's campaign and your father's campaign.
They were notoriously fired from both of our dad's campaigns.
George Conway.
Okay, but just... You know what, guys? Wait. See, this is part of the problem. There's part of the problem. Because if we say...
Well, there's a lot of history.
Let me say this, because one of the things that I think everybody has to do is you have to let folks say, these are the people who are standing up and saying something.
Yes.
And instead of... Because we don't know the ins and outs of what went on in the campaigns that you guys
There's a deeper story there, and the people that are speaking, their intentions may not be the right intentions.
But can I finish what I was saying?
For her, she needs to get it out, and then we can start to talk about it.
So what I thought was very interesting, what they were saying, was that they are calling on, they're saying that some of the congressional Republicans have really embraced and copied Mr. Trump's cruelty and defended and even adopted his corruption. And they're hoping, they're not optimistic, that some of those Republicans charged with sitting as jurors in a likely Senate impeachment trial will rise to the occasion. And that is actually my hope, that they rise to the occasion of the Constitution and do the right thing. And I'm not seeing that, at least on the Republican side.
No.
When you have someone like Lindsey Graham that's saying, I'm not going to be fair and impartial.
They won't
I've
even
made
let
my
the witnesses
decision
come and testify.
Let's talk about this when we come back,
All right.
because it's important. We'll be back.